Thanks to my parents, I have no memory of not being a part of the pro-life movement, and also of viewing the purposeful ending of the life of an unborn baby as a sin, and on the same level of the murder of any other person at any other stage in life. During my years in support of the pro-life movement, though, I've actually never read a pro-life book before. But when I saw Tearing Us Apart on the coming soon book list, and also with the pending decision of the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, I thought this might be an ideal time to read my first full treatment, an entire book on the pro-life issue, as opposed to just reading articles and newsletters as I have in the past. And I gotta say, I am so glad to have read Tearing Us Apart by Ryan Anderson and Alexandra DeSanctis. In Tearing Us Apart, Anderson and DeSanctis make a simple argument, and it's an argument that they prove again and again and again throughout the book. The book is written to prove how abortion has made everything worse in our society. Obviously, abortion first and foremost makes things worse for the child, who is killed before he has a chance to make a life for himself or herself. Abortion is worse for every single generation as we all lose potential friends, family members, and neighbors whose lives we will never enjoy. We will never be enriched by experiences with those who were aborted. But every part of our lives, even beyond the loss of those individuals, is made worse by abortion. Women and family are harmed through abortion, through broken families, poor mental and physical health outcomes, and so much more. Abortion harms our entire medical system by turning doctors away from the Hippocratic Oath. No longer do doctors say do no harm, but they are proclaiming and advocating a procedure that does nothing but harm. They turn instruments of healing into instruments of death. Abortion harms our entire legal system. It corrupted the Supreme Court to advance and defend a ruling that is found nowhere in the Constitution, and then to turn unelected judges into legislatures, and then to turn our legislators into cowards who refuse to fulfill their proper role in our government. Abortion ruins our politics and corrupts our media. We can no longer relate to one another in truth, in graciousness, and honesty because abortion has ruined an entire political party, and abortion supporters need to use lies and deception to cover the truth of a procedure that they love more than their own children. One of the strengths of this book is its ability to cover the breadth of how abortion impacts our society. I mean, you know, going into this book, how the news media, by and large, has sided with the abortion industry and how they have worked to downplay the pro-life perspective. But I didn't see quite how far they went until Tearing Us Apart put the coverage of pro-choice initiatives side by side with the coverage for pro-life initiatives. And you're able to see very clearly how they manipulate the scale so strongly on one side. And I've also read plenty before on Roe v Wade, but I never really dug into the Casey ruling before because from my view, all Casey did was confirm Roe, so it didn't really matter. But Anderson and DeSanctis point out how Casey, far from confirming Roe, actually chopped Roe off at the knees and prepared the court for overthrowing Roe in Dobbs, which we thankfully just saw recently. Casey rejected Roe's grounding of the abortion right in a generalized right of privacy and found it instead in the Due Process Clause's guarantee of liberty. Even after 2 decades, a majority still couldn't agree on how to ground the abortion right in the constitutional tradition. Well, I'm guessing that the majority of those in the pro-life movement will find much in Tearing Us Apart that you have read before. But Anderson and DeSanctis so skillfully touch on so many different areas in our life that I think everyone will find this book worthwhile because it will inevitably touch in some area in your life, some area in your understanding where you're not as knowledgeable as you wished you would be. Tearing Us Apart shows how abortion has torn our families and our society to pieces. But this book also helps tie together a coherent argument for the dignity of every unborn child by hitting it from so many different perspectives. This book is also just very well written. It is engaging. It is flowing with lines such as, "In consensual sex, even in the case of failed contraception, the man and woman voluntarily engage in the act that brings a new life into existence. The unborn child is not an intruder who uses force and violence to attach himself to the mother, the way a parasite attaches to a host. Rather, the unborn child is right where he is supposed to be, doing what he's supposed to be doing. Conception is the natural fruit of sex, and a child developing in the womb is a sign of reproductive health. Conception and gestation are natural results of sex." I don't know about you, but I just love that picture of the unborn child being right where he's supposed to be, doing exactly what he is supposed to be doing. No baby is an intruder in the womb. In fact, the only person who intrudes into the womb where they don't belong is the abortionist doctor, or the chemicals that are being brought in that are destroying the natural beauty of reproductive health. Reproductive freedom applies prior to conception, when reproduction takes place. This is another good argument to remember in the debate about freedom and liberty. Also, their section on the heartbeat of the baby, their comparison of heartbeat bills with the pro-abortion term of fetal pole cardiac activity, was excellent. And that may end up being the most important part of this book, as heartbeat bills may be the battleground across states in the coming years. So I cannot highly recommend this book anymore for those who are thrilled with the ruling of Dobbs, and you want to know how to speak out on behalf of those who cannot speak for themselves. If you're in one of those states, especially where abortion is going to continue to be a battleground issue, you must read Tearing Us Apart by Ryan Anderson and Alexandra DeSanctis. They have put together an excellent work, and after you read it, find a way to serve at your local pregnancy center. Look into ways that you can get involved with foster care and be involved in your local political process. And let's make abortion in America not safe, legal, and rare, but let's make it non-existent and even unthinkable. And if you've enjoyed this review and you want to stay engaged in the wonderful and insightful and instructive world of Christian literature, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Rev Reads YouTube channel.